Hey Falcons fans, today we have plenty to dive into about our team's future and the challenges we're facing right now. So, let's get started. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. What areas do you think the Falcons should focus on to turn things around? Let's start with the 2025 salary cap situation. Michael Penix Jr.'s emergence as the Falcons' starting quarterback has been a bright spot for fans, bringing much-needed hope after 7 long seasons without a playoff appearance. In his first 3 starts, Penix has showcased moments of brilliance, sparking comparisons to Jaden Daniels and the impact he had with the Commanders last season. Penix has the game-changing talent this team desperately needs. But let's be real. Building a Super Bowl contender requires more than just a spark. It takes smart roster moves and careful budgeting. Here's where things get tricky. Last offseason, the Falcons signed Kirk Cousins to a massive $180 million deal with $90 million guaranteed. Looking back, this decision might rank among the franchise's most regrettable moves. Cousins didn't deliver the impact the team hoped for, and now his contract is a major obstacle. Atlanta is projected to be $7 million over the salary cap for 2025, placing them 27th in the league. It's a tough reality for a fan base eager for success, especially considering that just a year ago, GM Terry Fontenot was being celebrated for pulling the team out of cap trouble. Now, they're back in it, thanks largely to the Cousins deal. The silver lining? This isn't a long-term crisis. Most of Cousins' guaranteed money will come off the books after next season. However, for 2025, the Falcons face some tough decisions. So, what can they do to create cap space and stay competitive? There are a few strategies to consider. Restructuring contracts for key players like Chris Lindstrom and Jesse Bates III could free up some room. Both are integral to the team's future. An early extension for star receiver Drake London is another possibility worth exploring. These moves could help Atlanta navigate the financial challenges and position themselves for a more promising season. The road ahead won't be easy, but with smart decisions and strategic planning, the Falcons can lay the groundwork for a brighter future. What do you think is the best path forward? Let us know. The best-case scenario for the Falcons would be finding a trade partner for Kirk Cousins to clear his massive contract. However, his no-trade clause makes this a difficult move. Regardless of what happens, don't expect Atlanta to spend big in free agency like they did last year. With limited cap space and only 4 picks in the upcoming draft, a result of past trades and tampering penalties, GM Terry Fontenot and head coach Raheem Morris must get every decision right this offseason. If Michael Penix Jr. doesn't deliver or the roster isn't improved enough, the Falcons could face an 8th consecutive season without playoff football. And let's be honest, it's hard to imagine Fontenot and Morris keeping their jobs if that happens. So, Falcons fans, what do you think? Should the team do whatever it takes to trade Cousins and free up cap space, or is restructuring other contracts the smarter move? Big changes are happening in Atlanta, and we're here to break it all down for you. In other news, the Falcons recently signed offensive lineman Matthew Cindric to a reserve/future contract. If you're wondering who Cindric is, he's an undrafted free agent out of Cal who spent time on the Falcons practice squad last season. Versatile and reliable, Cindric played both center and guard in college and had stints with the Vikings and Jets before returning to Atlanta. This signing marks the 14th reserve future contract the Falcons have handed out since the season ended. Here's the full list to bring you up to speed. QB Emory Jones, WR Philip Dorsett II, RB Elijah Dotson, WR Jesse Matthews, WR Dylan Drummond, OL Joey Fisher, OL Javian Gwynn, OL Tyrone Wheatley Jr., DL Jalen Redmond, DL Jr. Aho, DB Lamar Jackson, DL Khalid Kareem, DB Benny Sapp III, WR Maki Poit, OL Matthew Cindric. Clearly, the front office is focused on building depth and fostering competition as we head into the offseason. What are your thoughts on these moves? Let us know in the comments. Now let's switch gears and talk about the Falcons' search for a new defensive coordinator. On Tuesday, Michigan's Don "Wink" Martindale interviewed for the position, and former Bengals defensive coordinator Lou Anarumo is next in line. Addressing the team's defensive struggles from last season is a top priority, making this hire critical for Atlanta's success moving forward. Stay tuned to our channel for all the latest updates on this developing story. But that's not all. There's potential for blockbuster trade news on the horizon. Every offseason, a disgruntled star seems to hit the trade market, and this year, the Falcons might be in the mix for All-Pro cornerback Jair Alexander from the Packers. Alexander's season was plagued by injuries, and his relationship with Green Bay seems strained. He skipped media obligations during the locker room cleanout and was suspended in the past for a bizarre incident involving a coin toss without being a designated captain. Despite these concerns, Alexander remains an incredibly talented player. When healthy, he's a two-time All-Pro who could be the perfect complement to A.J. Terrell in Atlanta's secondary. The big question is whether the Falcons are willing to take on his massive contract, and whether the Packers are even open to trading him. What do you think, Falcons fans? Should Atlanta go all in on Jair Alexander, or is the risk too high considering his injury history and contract situation? Share your thoughts in the comments below. In other news, the Falcons' defensive coordinator search continues. Don "Wink" Martindale, who spent last season with Michigan and previously coached the Giants, brings a wealth of experience, including a long stint with the Ravens, where he built one of the league's most respected defenses. Up next, former Bengals defensive coordinator Lou Anarumo is set to meet with the Falcons on Thursday. This decision will be pivotal for Atlanta's future, and will keep you updated every step of the way. Lou Anarumo is known for his strategic adjustments and played a key role in the Bengals' back-to-back AFC Championship runs in 2021 and 2022. His defenses were flexible, consistently making critical halftime adjustments, exactly what Atlanta needs right now. However, the Falcons can't finalize their hiring process until they comply with the NFL's Rooney Rule, which requires interviewing at least one minority outside candidate. While Anarumo and Don "Wink" Martindale are strong contenders, the team will likely explore other highly qualified candidates in the coming days. Now, let's talk about the current state of the defense. Head coach Raheem Morris made the decision to part ways with defensive coordinator Jimmy Lake after just one season. Under Lake's leadership, the defense struggled significantly, finishing in the bottom half of the league in 3 of the 4 major defensive categories. The Falcons ranked 23rd in both total yards allowed and scoring defense. It was clear the team needed a fresh direction. Morris has emphasized building around key defensive players like A.J. Terrell and Jesse Bates III, both of whom had standout seasons despite the unit's overall struggles. He also highlighted linebacker Caden Ellis for his growth, but acknowledged that the front seven needs significant improvement. This is particularly important given that the Falcons finished 31st in sacks last season. Looking ahead, other potential candidates for the defensive coordinator position include former Falcons assistant Jeff Ulbrich, Steve Wilks, Leslie Frazier, Marvin Lewis, and Dennis Allen. Each candidate brings a unique set of experiences, from Ulbrich's history with Atlanta to Wilks' recent work with the 49ers. Let's be real, this hire is crucial. The Falcons haven't made the playoffs in 7 straight seasons, and the pressure on Raheem Morris and GM Terry Fontenot will only grow if this decision doesn't pan out. But if they get it right and pair a solid defense with the emerging talent on offense, the team could finally turn the corner. So, Falcons fans, what do you think? Should the team go with an experienced name like Martindale or Anarumo, or should they take a chance on someone new? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's get this debate started. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to stay up to date with all things Atlanta Falcons. Go Falcons!